#1 all time. This is the top 5, but this is definitely #1. This is going anywhere. I'm going. So this is actually it. This is the actual CD. A lot of wear and tear. I think it's been in probably every car that I've ever driven in for the CD player since, when is it? 1994. There are no song titles, but I did get a map. Doesn't really indicate, but I always kind of envision that one side kind of was referencing certain songs on disc 1 and the other side was referencing songs on disc 2. Could be up for interpretation. So my first exposure to Aphex Twin was this creepy looking, it was the Richard D. James album, which I thought was creepy at the time. I'm not quite sure the year on that, probably early 90s. I had discovered that in my oldest sister's CD collection. She was in college at the time, and that was like definitely the era of college radio. So that was kind of going through those CDs. Her CDs was definitely an exposure into a whole new world of music that I was not exposed to prior to that. It was pretty much MTV and the radio, Z100, like that was my exposure. So there was this loose association with like techno, cool, drugs, that whole scene, that was cool. So I found that album. It kind of read like techno. It seemed a little bit crazier, but I thought that, you know, maybe that was like a drug component I wasn't aware of yet, but it was definitely engaging and I loved it. So I played that a lot, but it was her, so she took it and probably like dubbed it on tape from the CD because we had that setup going. And then I went to Tower Records and I wanted to buy the CD. They didn't have it, but they had this one, Select Ambient Works Volume 2, and I was like, sweet, it's a 2-disc bonus. It's probably gonna be sweet. Brought it home. Initially was severely disappointed because I was like, it's super diverse and mellow and ambient. I don't know, this was different because I was looking for something that kind of reinforced a culture that I knew about, but this was almost devoid of any culture because it was ambient. The songs read more cinematically, which was over time, you know, I kept listening to it and that became really interesting, and just being able to dive into this album, either disc, just kind of bouncing around tracks and being transported to anywhere you wanted to, and the music was so rich that it just instantly brought a number of illusions to mind. And I think at that middle teen years kind of solidified my interest in cinema and movie making, because, and also the sound component to it. Sound is so important to movie making. The whole soundscape could make or break a scene or totally change a scene. So that was kind of my first indirect exposure to that. And it inspired a lot of creative ideas. Distinct memories of that time too, of putting either of these discs in my Discman with headphones on and falling asleep at night and just dozing into this like deep state, more than falling asleep to with headphones on, but was waking up like 45 minutes later out of a deep sleep with one of like the super eerie or drony tracks playing and just being completely disoriented. But super slick. Always used to envision like some sort of like spy, Sly Fox scenario, espionage. This would be one of the creepy ones to wake up to and be like, where the fuck am I? Super chill, always listen to this just to kind of recollect and regroup. It's intro to alpha wave relaxation, love it. Kind of creepy espionage, kind of seductive espionage. This one you gotta wait for. Is this it? Yeah. This one you gotta wait for. There's so many little like nuances with the piano keys and the melodies in it. Very patient. This one is great to wake up to. It's kind of reminded me of like a sci-fi thing. I was kind of into Dune at that time, and like spaceship drifting through deep space, going to the portal, docking. So scary to wake up to. This puts me in New Jersey, driving down Route 95 at night near kind of like across from Manhattan. Post first major breakup. Very sad, but encapsulated in the night and the sound and just moving and kind of knowing that things would be okay. It was a passage of time, I guess. And depending on the speakers you listen to this one, that metronome ticking reads very differently.